Hey guys, I've had to redo this video a couple of times because I've got to be careful not to get into politics. I try to stay neutral and unbiased on this channel and not to bring my own personal beliefs into it as much as possible, just stay like a neutral observer. I did feel the need to state that if you look into this from a neutral and objective perspective, it is objective, simple truth that Israel is the aggressor and in the wrong, and Palestine is being, subject to ethnic clean. Yeah, Palestinians being in the Gaza Strip are being subject to war crimes and ethnic cleansing, and yeah, Israel is in the wrong. I'm not pro-Palestine. I'm not pro-Israeli. I'm pro-truth. But I actually get quite passionate about the subject, so I had to redo this video a couple of times because I don't want to bring politics and religion into the channel, but I did gently, and it's gentle by my standards considering how passionately I feel about this subject, feel the need to draw people's attention to the objective truth on this matter and some previous videos about what is really going on here and how Israel is in the wrong. And that's why they're going to lose this war. And that's what God showed me. But I won't say any more than that. Otherwise, I'll talk for too long and I'll be violating my own policies. So I'll just stick to what God showed me last night. So I was shown Khan Yunis, which is the city in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. I could see it. The Holy Spirit spelled it out. And there were Palestinian fighters. I'm not going to call them terrorists. I'm not going to call them freedom fighters because I don't want to get into the politics of it. I just want to stay as neutral and objective as possible. So let's just call them fighters, all right? So I'm using neutral language. From the different groups, so the Fatah has a militant wing. Hamas obviously has a militant wing, and there's another group. I forget their name. And they all have Islamic names. They're militant branches, and they were all kind of fighting and squabbling. But in this war, they've united. So there's like the Al-Quds. I'll find them. I'll look them up, and I'll give the names in the description box below. But so Palestinian warriors, fighters of the different factions, and I'm sure there are just regular guys who aren't in those factions who are probably helping out in some way too. But the dream is more focused on the professionally trained Palestinian soldiers. Yeah. It wasn't focused on any paramilitaries or anything like that. But I could see these guys, they were dressed and there's a kind of a head cloth that Palestinians wear, which is part of their culture. Some of them were wearing that, and they were dressed like Palestinians are dressed. I could see they were quite heavily armed. I could see some of them had RPGs and assault rifles, and I could see them in large numbers running around, moving quickly through streets and tunnels in Khan Yunis. And basically what I was told and shown is that they are well prepared, and Israel is going in there, and the implication seemed to be that either they're going to defeat the Israeli soldiers, or they're going to, at the very least, inflict upon them extremely heavy losses. It was kind of made apparent to me that this was like a hub and kind of a rock, like a hard point of the resistance of these people defending their land, which is currently being invaded by the IDF in response, as the Israelis say, from their official announcements to the Hamas terrorist attacks on October the 7th. Which weren't completely terrorist attacks, by the way. Half of the people they killed were Israeli IDF soldiers. And this has also come out in the media. And if you don't believe me, I'll put some links below. a lot of the people who died on October the 7th were killed by the IDF. They killed Israeli children when they shot tank shells into houses, and they killed Israelis from helicopter gunships with their own helicopter gunships. So a lot of people who died on that day were killed by their own army. I don't know if that was conspiracy or just friendly fire, and there's even an Israeli woman hostage who escaped, and she confirmed that. So just FYI, things are not what they seem from what the mainstream media gives you. It's a bit more complicated. So I believe this was a dream from God, but I'm a little hesitant to post it. I don't quite know what it means. And I'm not 100% sure on this one. That's what I would say. And I guess the reason I'm saying I feel hesitant is because events there are unfolding so fast, and yeah. But I mean, basically what it appeared to be showing, the Holy Spirit appeared to be showing me, was that Khan Yunis in this part of the south of the Gaza Strip is going to be a hard nut to crack. And yeah, as I said, in summary, either the Israelis won't be able to take it, or they're going to suffer very heavy losses. But if I had to summarize it, the Palestinian soldiers of the different groups, those different groups I alluded to earlier, they're much better prepared than the IDF seems to think they are, and they're kind of ready. They're ready for them, and that area will not be easy to take if Israel is able to take it at all. That's what God via the Holy Spirit appeared to be showing me. But for some reason, I do feel a little hesitant saying this. So I don't know 100% I'm not 100% sure if that's going to happen. I'm just not quite sure for some reason. I'm a little hesitant. But maybe it does. So I'm not like many of these other dreams I've posted saying I believe this will happen. I do think this was from God. I do think it probably was prophetic, but I'm just not sure. Okay, so if I get this one wrong, you can't come and say, "Hey, you said this was going to happen." I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying I don't really understand it, but I do feel the need to share it. So I can't explain it. I just feel the need to share it and put it out there. I think one of the reasons I feel hesitant is because I have a little bit of a sense of almost disbelief. It's similar to the sense I had when I first started getting dreams about New Zealand being invaded. I simply couldn't believe it. I mean, guys, it took me over a year to process that Russia and North Korea were going to invade New Zealand. I literally didn't believe it at first. It took me a year to process that. And then I only really started to believe it when I saw other people getting dreams about the same thing. And I haven't seen anyone else get a dream about this particular event. And I'm kind of having the same feelings now. Like when I was shown Turkey declaring war on Israel, I was like, what? Is that seems a bit far out. And it's not just that. But I've never had a prophetic dream about something that's kind of happening in real time. So I'm like, I feel the need to post this, but I'm just telling you what I got shown. I believe it was from God, and I believe it was probably prophetic, but I'm not 100% sure. So don't come back and say, hey, Nick, if this doesn't happen, you're full of the proverbial, and I'm not going to listen to you anymore. I think that's probably what it meant. I think it was probably prophetic, but I'm not quite sure. I do feel the need to post this, so we'll see what happens. If I had to summarize, my gut feeling is that everyone's going to get a big shock from this war, and that, I mean, yeah, of course, God showed me Israel loses in the end, but it's really not going to go Israel's way. And that's going to really surprise everyone. But that's part of the feeling of hesitancy and confusion, because Israel's been winning so overwhelmingly for so long. For such a turnaround to happen so suddenly, it goes against normalcy bias. It's, we're not used to the idea of the other side having any victories. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I believe that dream was most likely prophetic and most likely from God, but we'll see what happens. But I don't know if this one. So it's a wait and see. I just felt the need to post